Hello again, listeners, and welcome back to the Kotu Classic. I'm your host, Bruce, and as usual, I have my co-host, Mr. Chama, flying high.
Well, yeah. This week, I cannot complain much. I had my first win against,
No
I had
Holland, no
a,
Holland is winning
yeah,
this week. Yeah,
yeah, the first no Holland win. So yeah, I cannot complain, but it could have been better. Like we always say, we
yeah,
always want
yeah.
more, right?
It could have been way, way better. So I'm happy that it didn't go too much, because it could have been like last season 9-0, but yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so this week we are recording game week 3 preview. It's Wednesday here, the 23rd of August for me. I think Chama is still the
Yeah,
same. It's
yeah.
almost
Still Wednesday.
still
Still
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
so we are in the same
Yeah.
same day.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So let's jump right in to the game week 2 review. First things first. There's some notable results and takeaways. So um, thanks to understat.com, we got these beautiful stats that gives the expected goals
Mhm.
below. Yeah. So the first game, Nottingham Forest Sheffield is 2-1. Uh, Second day, that's the first game on Friday. On Saturday, we had a host of games. Wolves 1, Brighton 4, Fulham 0, Brentford 3, Liverpool 3-1. This was the game that people thought, if you don't have Liverpool assets,
Yeah.
man, I was really scared watching this game. But when I was keeping tabs on it, so when I saw the first goal, Bournemouth, I was like, yes, finally, no TA assist, so let's go. um, yeah, so Luton Burnley, that was, I think it's a postponed game, right?
Yeah,
It
postponed
did
because
not
of
happen
Burnley.
yet.
Luton Stadium, stadium issues. They are, I think, redeveloping the stadium, so that's why the game was postponed, I
Okay.
believe. Yeah.
Tottenham 2-0 Man United. I'll talk about that in the fan corner. Just give my brief
Yeah, we
thoughts on
talk
that.
about that one, definitely.
Yeah. Man City Newcastle 1-0. On Sunday we had Aston Villa 4-0 Everton. West Ham
Mhm.
3-1 Chelsea. And the last game of the week, which was on Monday, is Crystal Palace 0 Arsenal 1. Hard fought game for
Yeah.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your thoughts on this results?
Yeah, it was like a low scoring game week, I think, but the results were very interesting. The first game, of course, Nottingham Forest. I watched bits of it because I had my goalkeeper there. You remember last week, Turner,
Turner, yeah.
and what's his name? The goal still I ended up with Turner, and yeah, he did they basically did the same thing, but it was an interesting game. I think I expected Nottingham Forest to score, but I was expecting a clean sheet, which was very close because the goal Sheffield United score came out of nowhere just in the second half. They just started and then they just bang one in. Yeah, but it was interesting. The main takeaway from that one was their striker, our knee. He's doing very well under the radar. People are not taking notice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was his sixth game in a row in the Premier League he's scoring.
Mm-hmm.
So like we all know strikers sometimes in the game they can be difficult to come by, but he's doing very well. Of course, this year many strikers are doing well. And then the Brighton, of course, Brighton, we need to talk about Brighton and Brentford. These two teams that are very similar. They all start with these Bs, they have similar models in terms of how they approach their things. They have their own ways, of course, but they have similar kind of set plans and stuff like that. They have started the season really well. Brighton with their 4-1 win against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Of course, it was Wolves. Last week they played very well against Man United,
Mm-hmm.
Wolves, but we thought Wolves were okay, but maybe that was a Man United issue rather than Wolves
Definitely
being
Man
so good.
United issue, yeah.
I think Brighton just showed that, and like Brighton, they are attacking players, they are exceptional. Yeah,
Yeah, we
Brighton
can.
Brentford. Let's start there.
Uh,
Let's
yeah,
speak about those two. Our thoughts on those two teams. Then we can talk about other things, right?
yeah. Before we move on,
What's your take?
Joao Pedro was benched. I think that was
Yeah,
it made a lot of managers angry, especially myself. Speaking of myself, because I thought maybe
yeah,
last week he was on penalties. He started, he was like the key man apart from Mimi Thomas.
yeah,
And then you see him benched, and he came in second half. Even though it was an open game, Brighton were on form in the second half. The first half was kind of
yeah.
a bit let's say it was a bit measured because Wolves were kind of good. They were matching Brighton, but then second half something happened. They just switched off, and Brighton scored like 2 or 3 goals in the space of a few minutes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it could have been worse. Honestly, it could have continued being like they keep on scoring, but I think they came back into the game and shut up the goals. But I was
yeah.
surprised to see that he was benched. That was my whole issue with Joao Pedro.
Yeah, but Brighton were impressive, right?
They
Very
were they were
impressive. They scored.
impressive.
They scored 4 goals. But if you look at the numbers, like that's why we bring in on the stars. If you look at the numbers, Wolverhampton did not do that badly. They should have scored
They
at
should have
least
scored more goals.
a couple of goals. They if you look at the XG, it was not so far away. 2.69 for Wolves and 3.16 for Brighton. So Wolves did create chances. Brighton do give away chances. Of course, they are exceptional. They are attacking options now. I think at this moment in time they have one of the most they have the biggest attacking options, because if you can bench João Pedro, who was somebody like everybody was like João Pedro is exceptional, and he has been exceptional. I think the coach just had some issues with him when it comes to defending, which is very important. It's similar to my team Liverpool. Darwin don't start because of those little details that you don't have, that you don't add to the team. That's why he's not starting, not because of his attacking input or stuff like that. João Pedro, that was the reason the coach benched him, because if you listen to one of his interview, he say like he's a very top player, but he needs him to change his mentality when he don't have the ball or stuff like that. So it means that he's not doing something right that the coach like. But Wolves did create chances, and even the player who came on, Enciso, he was also a player we considered at the start of the season.
He was very
but we did not know if he will start
Yeah.
or not and stuff like that. He came in and he was exceptional. He took the number 10 now. Created 2 exceptional passes. The first goal he created for Match, it was exceptional. Match under the radar. Nobody talks about Match. Everybody talk about Mitoma. Everybody talk about all the other players. Ferguson did not even start again, after scoring the other goal. And the other player, other ringer, the options they have up top, they are a lot. Like,
it's funny.
It's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing for FPL. Don't you think so?
I think you can't own. If we had 4 options to have in Brighton, I think people would go for them, because there's so many options. Even Welbeck was exceptional. Now I know why Ferguson is being benched, because Welbeck seems like the player that ManU thought that we were going to have when he broke into the first team. He was everywhere. He's like drawing the defenders out, moving. It's like he played like Kane. The only problem I have with him is the chances. He doesn't finish.
He does score,
His finishing is not as good as like what it's supposed to be. But man, he fits that Brighton team to a T. And I'll talk about Mitoma's goal too. Like I don't know whether you call it golazo, is it, or what? Because that goal was
it's probably the goal of the season at this stage.
It was all Mitoma, honestly. Like it's good to watch him play football. Like that's why I like watching Brighton.
A Jamie assist for Esther Pinan. Of course,
from the midway line.
He creates a lot. Yeah. And he passed it from the middle, and Mitoma take it from there and got the assist. But for FPL, we will take anything. And also, they are also about to sign a very good player, Brighton, another player in their midfield. I just saw it yesterday. That is Fabricio Diaz. Maybe you don't know about him. He played for Uruguay in the under 20. I was following the under 20 World Cup very religiously. So I followed the Uruguay team. They knocked us out, the Gambia. And he was a player that I pinpoint that like he's gonna be something expensive. He was their captain. He was their midfielder, defensive midfielder. So watching him play, he's different from Caicedo, but he's very good defensively. What he's good at is his passing range. He's so good at passing. He's very intelligent. He's similar to Batancourt in a way, but he offers more. Like his set piece delivery is exceptional. They won the World Cup. Uruguay won the World Cup. He lifted the World Cup with them. The Copa America, he also went all the way to the final. He was part of the leading goal scorers in that tournament from defensive midfield. He creates, he scores, and he's also a defense. He gives you everything. Brighton are about to sign him for about 8 million. So I'm sure in the next 2 years we will be talking about this player. Somebody will be coming with another 100 million to get the play because of how. Man. But anyways, let's just keep tabs on him. That is Fabricio Diaz. I'm really excited to see him go to Brighton. I don't know even why Liverpool didn't go for him, because we are crying for a young defensive player. But of course, Liverpool will like to a proven asset and stuff like that. But Brighton, of course, they take the risk, and it will be interesting to see how this player evolves. Let's move to Brentford. We spent too much time on Brighton. Right?
Brentford, I didn't watch the game, but I heard that Bomo, who's really disturbing my rank right now, I wish I had gone for him initially, but it is what it is right now. Yeah, Brentford impressive. Wisa impressive. Did you watch the game? Your takeaways for this game?
No, I didn't watch the game, but I did saw the highlights. Most of these games, I see the highlights. Because of the timing of the game, it was the same time as Liverpool game, so of course I'll be watching Liverpool. But I did saw the highlights, saw the goals, the penalty, the tapping. We saw, continuing his form. Those two players, like they are killing it. Since Ivan Toney went out of this team last year, last
They've been
season,
doing well, yeah.
like they have been doing really well. So, and they have just continued from where they left up. I think we discussed a lot about both of them earlier in the season, before the season started. I think you considered we say, and
I did.
I
It
was
was my team for a bit,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, he's finishing. He's an exceptional finisher, and he's getting a volume of chances, a lot of chances. 20%, like I think 20% conversion rate at the moment, which is good. And yeah, I think he's a serious player. I don't mind the double up. And I think when we go to our team, you will see that, yeah, that's where I'm heading to. But yeah, they are a very interesting team. And defensively too, they are not bad. Rico Henry is flying up and down the wing, in the first game, like I told you, Mbemo missed a big chance in that game, which Rico Henry would have had two assists in that game. And yes, this last game they kept a clean sheet. So if you can have the attacking input from those players, and also having the defensive solidity that we know they can have. And now the fixtures in the next 4 game weeks for them is exceptionally good. So yeah, I don't even mind tripling up on Brentford at this moment in time, which I know many people will not, because it's not Liverpool, it's not Manchester City, it's not Manchester United. But yeah, for me, they are looking very good, to be honest, Brentford.
Moving on to Man City, Newcastle. I think I watched a bit of this game. You can see by the stats, 1.23 expected goals. Not a lot of goals.
Not much.
Not much. But people are bigging up Foden, like, he had an exceptional game, but there's only 1 goal in this game. So is it a hype, or is it like people are excited because it's Foden, or what's going on?
No, definitely. I think he had an exceptional game. He like the tactic that Pep came on with. Of course, he was trying to shut down Newcastle, but also get a few chances. And all the chances that Man City have, it was coming from Foden. I think he created 8 chances during that game. 8 chances. Haaland has some chances from Foden's creativity. The goal itself, Foden created the goal. Of course, he just got an assist, but he ended up with 3 bonus points because of the amount of involvement he had in the game. You would have expected Alvarez to get the 3 bonus points, but it ended up with Foden or the defenders. He was exceptional in the game, playing out wide, and then Bon was like in no man's land. He really struggled with Foden because Foden was playing right wing, and Foden will always drop into the middle. And when Foden drop, what happens? Kyle Walker will be bumping, because Kyle Walker can run the full length of the pitch.
Like
and so he will leave Dan Bond in no man's land. What do I do? Should I follow Foden into the middle of the pitch, or should I stay? If you follow Foden, you know what Rodney can do. Rodney can just get the ball and switch the play to Kyle Walker. He has all that space. Even though he may not create much, but Foden will make a second man run. That's how the goal came in. Make a second, like on a lap in between. Kyle Walker passing the ball, and then he dropped it for Alvarez. Alvarez take the shot, and that was the goal. That's how the game finished. And they had that kind of opportunity a lot of the times in that game. And it was all Foden in that game, to be honest. He kind of took the game by the scruff of the leg.
That's what we expected from somebody like him, because I think it's good that KDB is out. I think we spoke about this. And then you have somebody that steps up. Because the problem with Foden is, I don't know why Pep likes benching him. Maybe there's something that he doesn't like, and he wants him to cut out of his game. And I feel like this might be his season to be consistent and to rise to the occasion, and he's doing it. I'm happy that he did it, because we know that he's a really talented player. Grealish is also somebody that I expect to also step up and take up that mantle of responsibility in the team. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the problem with Grealish is, I think, what Pep's want from him. It's not about what Grealish want to do in the pitch, because Pep want him to create the width on the left side. So that means he will always, and Grealish is a player who will stand, pass me the ball, take on the player, tap, pass the ball, keep the ball, make it safe. There is no counter-attacking from them, because he can control the ball very well. But you will not see him running behind, like what Salah does or what Mane used to do, those kind of things. Grealish is not that. And Pep likes it the way it is, because it gives him control of the game. Like, the opponents don't get the ball a lot. This is what Pep wants. And Grealish is one of the best for that. That's why Grealish, I think he's effective for Pep, but he's not effective for us as FPL managers. But by the way, Haaland, let's talk about Haaland. He blanked, right?
He blanked. But actually,
the first
half, he had a good chance. I think somebody passed him and then he miscontrolled and the ball went out. That was like, after I saw
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
it's a bit strange to see that kind of, let's say, irresponsibility
Moment.
from Haaland.
Mhm.
That's like it just switched off and then he missed the ball. Then I just thought to myself,
Yeah.
maybe he's gonna have a bad game today. This is not like, doesn't
Today's
seem
a
like
bad. Today's
it's
a
gonna
bad day.
be his
Chama
day.
is watching.
Yeah, I just knew that it wasn't going to be his day. I was like, okay, man, that's it, that's it for me. And it turns out it
Actually,
wasn't
I
his
only
day.
watched. Yeah. Actually, I only watched the first half, and I was okay.
Yeah, it's not
45
going to, it's
minutes
not going to
gone.
be his day.
No
Yeah,
goal for Haaland.
yeah,
And then because it was late. It was late at night, right? Because I was watching football throughout that. Like it was around 4 a.m. I was watching football. Manchester United. I didn't want to miss the United, Tottenham game. It was an exciting game. I wanted
yeah,
to
it
watch
was.
that
Yeah, it
one.
was supposed to be.
Then Man City came. That was 4 a.m. It started in Japan. So I started watching the first half. Really, I dozed off in the
Yeah, it
second
does.
half.
Yeah.
Woke up. And then I was like very scary to check my phone what Haaland has done, This is
That's
what he does to me,
that's you. That's
seriously.
gonna be you the whole season this time around. It's
That's
gonna
gonna
be.
be me, that was it. But it will be exciting. I enjoy this week because everybody's talking about everybody got to captain Haaland because anybody who had Haaland had to captain
You have to
except few
captain.
people who had Salah. Even Salah, Haaland was the most captain player in the game week, despite Salah having
The easier fixture. Yeah.
that easier fixture. But yeah, anyways, let's go. Villa.
Let's speed it along. Aston Villa 4-0 Everton. Everton the Pickford pick, like people were talking about in the beginning of the season. I don't understand why they wanted to go for Pickford, but
Yeah.
this is what you get. Like 4-0, even though I think what's his name again? Watkins. People were expecting that Watkins would be part of the goals, but did he get an assist? I think he got an assist, right?
He got an assist for the penalty, but he did not take the penalty, which was a problem
Oh,
for owners. I did not
okay.
own it because, of course, this week I think it was a week of penalty
Penalty,
discussions.
yeah, takers not
Salah missed
taking
the
penalty, not stepping
penalty.
up, yeah.
Saka did not take the penalty. Watkins did not take the penalty. So everything was surrounded around penalty. And who else missed the penalty? Chelsea missed the penalty.
Chelsea,
Enzo
yeah,
Fernandez.
Enzo
So
Fernandez
there was
missed
a
the
lot of
penalty.
stories around penalties, right? Caicedo came in and committed a penalty.
Yeah, the debut from hell. Like I'm not one to celebrate players' like bad fortune or whatever, but I think people are looking towards him because his price is expensive. They bought him for like a
Yeah.
record fee, and they expect him to do everything, to score goals with his first kick. Like I think give the guy some time. It's not his fault that he's
You got
expensive, but I think he's a good player. I
No,
think
of course, he's an exception.
yeah,
But
man.
I think
Like
we are. I think I am different with you from on that perspective. For me personally, well, I don't want players to do well. If you don't a
nah.
Liverpool
For me,
player, of course.
yeah.
But what I don't do is like I don't wish like injury or stuff like this. But when it comes to playing well, I don't support the team. I don't want their players to do well. This is me.
Yeah.
This is like, of course, I can appreciate if they do well and appreciate the football and stuff like that. But to tell you that I want this player to do well, no, that's not me.
Yeah. So West Ham beat Chelsea 3-1. Chelsea, like you said, Enzo missed the penalty,
Interesting game.
and yeah, I was surprised that West Ham, beat Chelsea. I was expecting that it would be a Chelsea because Chelsea did well against Liverpool, so obviously that's like a big test for them, and you expect them to beat
Yeah.
West Ham, but it wasn't so. So they still have some
Yeah.
more integration of the players because a lot of
But
players coming in.
actually in that game, I think they did well.
They did well, yeah. I
Because
think they
if
did well,
they
yeah.
if they had scored that penalty, the game was very close. It was a derby at the end of the day. If they scored that penalty, Enzo Fernandez, that penalty would have been 2-1 for Chelsea
2-1 for
going into the
Chelsea, yeah.
halftime or stuff like that. Like was that in the second half? Yeah, first half, it was 2-1 going into the halftime. And that would have been a very good, score for them to start with. And then they kind of controlled the game in the first half. Second half, West Ham came in with some other, some tactical changes with Moyes and stuff like this. And then out of the break, they got a goal. Thiago Silva, I don't know what he was doing there. That guy he too is old. I think he's relaxed now. He was sleeping in the goal. Antonio score. Of course, he was not there, but in the middle of the pitch or stuff like that. He was around the ball and stuff like that. Never. He was like just like a passenger in the middle, just watching the ball going this way, going that way. But yeah, it was unfortunate for Chelsea. But now they have good run of fixtures coming in, and
Yeah.
that will be interesting to see. Nicholas, how did you see Nicolas? How did you rate Nicolas Jackson's season so far? What's your
I
thoughts
think
on
he's
him?
as a striker, like he does everything that a striker is supposed to do in the team, making the runs, drawing the defenders out, being physical, taking
He's doing all
positions.
the Welbeck thing.
The only thing he doesn't do is to score. That is the problem.
Yeah.
I feel like if we give him one more game and he does the same thing continues, he's going to be those type of players that are good for the team but not good for FPL, in my opinion.
But
because
I think he will come good, to be honest. I think he has been a bit unfortunate, like not like he's having clear-cut chances to score. He's having half chances here and there. And then, he's hitting the target sometimes, go to making saves, and he's still new to the league. So maybe we should give him a little bit of time. And he's exciting, to be honest. He's exciting. Like you say, the movements
yeah, he's a good player.
are good. He drags these defenders there.
Mm-hmm.
He have a good burst of pace. I can remember in the Liverpool game, 90th minute, he got the ball from his own half. Ibu Konate is chasing him, and Ibu Konate cannot even get close to him.
Yep.
So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, wow, he's really
good,
a good player.
Good.
And
it's good watching, but I think he might need some time to settle in before we expect some points from him. But because I think for now somebody else in the team might benefit from his industriousness. Even Sterling was impressive, man. Sterling is back to his form of
Sterling.
Going in. I was like, man, this is
everybody's talking about Sterling this
against
week.
Liverpool. He did well, and people are not talking about him. I don't know why, but he seems very impressive to me.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, for me, I'm looking for a third Chelsea asset right now. I got two. Because of the fixtures that they have Luton coming up next, and then they have Nottingham Forest. Those two home fixtures. Of course, I'm gonna get him this week. I use my transfers already. But he's a player that to consider. He was electric. He won the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
I think he seems assured now that he will start. I think.
Yeah.
Like Pochettino cannot bench him with what he saw in that game and his pedigree as a player. I don't think Pochettino can bench him from going forward.
Last but not the least, Crystal Palace Arsenal. Did you watch this game?
I did not watch it. I just know about the penalty, which was very hardening for me.
Yeah,
but I know Saka is a so you should not feel so hard done by, because I think everybody owns Saka. It's about 60-70% ownership. So he's the highest owned player in my team actually, because I don't own Haaland. So.
Another thing of note is that Gabriel also did not start again. There are rumors that he's talking to the Saudi league again. So that's why there is some uncertainty about his future in the team. I don't know how that's unfolding right now, but it seems like he might leave, he might not leave. That's why I think he's been benched, just to give the team a bit of solidity and just to make sure that everybody that is there wants to be playing for Arsenal. So that means he's going to be out in a lot of teams this week. So.
Yeah, but I expect him to start the next game because Tommy has got the red card.
That's fine. I'm not gonna give him my team.
Yeah, of course. But
oh man,
I'm just generally speaking, I like Tommy Timbers is out injured.
Yeah, so they are light in numbers when it comes to that to the defense.
They are light in numbers. What's his name?
Coming back.
Zinchenko came back.
Yeah, he's back.
If Zinchenko is back, then he becomes quite an important asset because of his left-footedness. Like he can, cover that. That is the position he can play. Like last time I told you, he can drop into the middle or he can drop into the left center back. But what he cannot do is drop into left full back. So that is why they don't want him to play without Zinchenko. Maybe that was the explanation, anyways, from what and that is how I saw it. I think he's a sell though. He's a sell because 2 games after starting 76 games for the club, and then 2 games starting of season he's not starting. He's a sell. It's a difficult one. I know he has completely dismantled some of you guys, your FPL season, because of the way.
Yep.
Because of course, if I did not know that information in the early hours of game week 1, I will never have transferred him out because he was my preferred pick when you compare him to Saliba at the start of the season. But because I know that information, I was watching the stream and then I got the information. So that is around 11-point swing. If you did that move, you get an 11 point on top of what you should have get. If you don't do that move, you are 11-point short. So it's unfortunate, and that this is how FPL has started. It could have been at the middle of the season, maybe it's not a major problem, but at the start of the season, it kind of kills some managers, and I feel sorry for those managers, including yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to our teams, like the woeful game week 2 for me. Starting with me, obviously. I got 29 points. Like, I couldn't believe that. Especially when Mitoma, as soon as Mitoma scored that goal, I was like, oh, this is going to be a bad game week for me. Like, watching the game, I guess knew because Mitoma was on the bench and he was on form, and Joao Pedro was benched. So I was like, this is going to be a really bad start for me. So Starting with Onana 2 points, Chilwell 1, Estupinian 11. He was exceptional in the game week. Gabriel, another one again, another stinker of 1 point, not coming on, not starting, like we just mentioned. Bruno 1 point, Martinelli 3, Rashford 2, Saka 3, Joao Pedro 0. Obviously, he came in with 1 and then got a yellow card, so it's back to 0 again. Nicola Jackson and Captain Haaland blank with 4 points. On the bench, Mitoma is the only one, I think, with 12 points. But Baldock was injured, so did not play.
Yeah, but the Mitoma one, I need to ask you though. The Mitoma one. Was he on your bench last time we discussed?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because I started him first game, and Pedro got more points. Now I did the opposite. Now Pedro did not start. Mitoma got 12 points. So this is just typical FPL. So 29 points, a game week rank of 8 million. So almost at the end, like one of the worst results you could actually ever get in this game week. So man, this is just one to forget, honestly.
It's cruel. It's cruel. The game can be cruel.
Yeah,
I can tell.
it's fine. So I just take it on the chin and just move on. Quickly, let's move on to your team.
Yeah. For me, I went with Tona in goal, like I say, 2 points. Not much difference between him and Steele. Akanji, taking on with the clean sheet points, 7 points. Gave me the clean sheet in the first game week, and now. Estepina, of course, another public property with 11 points. He's very highly owned. Trent, 2 points. That was terrible. And he is now yellow flag. And I don't know, I don't know if my heart gave me to sell him, but I will bench him this game. We can see what happens. He's back in training, by the way. Salah, captain, 10 points. I was disappointed with that, but in the end, he outscored Haaland, which is all I wanted. Rashford, 3 points, 49 points. That was also a very good 9 points. Buemo, I started Buemo, 16 points, and Saka, 3 points. Jackson, 1 point, and Darwin, very disappointing. I think Darwin, because of the red card that Liverpool had, he could not get a lot of minutes. He ended up playing about 1 minute or two. If the red card did not happen, maybe he would have come on early, maybe 20 minutes or something like that, 30 minutes, and that would have been good for him in that game. The red card kind of disrupted Liverpool because they had to change their strategy, just meant like try to control the game and then hang on to that lead. But yeah, I went with the Joao Pedro bench. It worked, but the Saliba one, like you said, I think it was him or Akanji. You told me, but I stick with Akanji.
Fine. Just 1 point difference.
But Joao Pedro, with him and Buemo, like I say, I always prefer the midfielder, so I decided to start him. So I dodged the bullet there for the Joao Pedro one. Yeah, it's not for me. I think that is one aspect of your game that needs to be changed a little bit. It's not just about the point, because Joao Pedro did better than Mitoma last week, like you say. Then you went with but Mitoma is the better player, like generally speaking.
True, yeah.
So sometimes it's not just about who get the point last week. Like if I was doing that, maybe I would like Joao Pedro would start in my team. But I did not look at it that way. I just look at my team. Who is better? Who is he better than in my team generally? And to be honest, maybe Darwin in the end. But I was banking on Liverpool to do well against Bournemouth and stuff like that. So that's why I just have to gamble that one there. So yeah, but anyways, it is what it is, and hopefully we improve going forward.
Yeah. So 64 points, game week rank of 429. Like you see,
got into the 1 million.
So yeah. So from where were you? 3.8 last week.
3.8 million now.
3.8 now up to 959K, and it's like we switched roles, huh? I was 1.7 last week now. Now I'm 4.9 million. So
but the season is still young, so you can just one good game we can take you.
Yeah, it's like a 1 point swing can take you like 100K places or so that's fine. So moving on to the Kotu Classic Mini-league. So this is our graphic for the week. We have the top 5. In 5th we have Auxil 11, Pratik Aurora, 143.
You remember the name?
Yeah, I remember the name. This is like a mainstay in our top 10 FPL. So this must be a very good manager from India. So so in 4th we actually have two managers with the same points. So we have 2/3. Mauro Jallo off to Saudi I don't know what flag is that, to be honest.
UAE, he's in UAE. He's
UAE?
Gambia,
Oh, okay.
but of course he's in UAE.
And
Yeah.
also one of our former guests on the pod, Bernard Gomez, doing
No,
very well
he's
for a
still
start.
part of us. He's still part of us. He should be coming soon.
He should be
Yeah.
coming, yeah.
We should be getting him back soon to get some tips from him.
Yeah. Yeah, in third, and then still in second, Ahmed Tigan Suleiman for the 146 from Nigeria. And then moving to first is Sekou Gassama from Sweden. He's in Sweden right now. So
Yeah.
top 5 is really good. So we've introduced our ranks week by week, even though we're not part of the top 10 or whatever. At least we are part of the the mini league.
Just see looking at our struggles in
Yeah,
the
just,
league,
just to put ourselves out there and hold us responsible and accountable that we have to do well, or else we're going to be aired on on the pod. um, so you have risen to 32 to spot 32 with 133 total points. I fell down to 139. When I go to the page, I can't even see my name on the first page. I have to scroll a few a few pages. 103 points. So you can see just 30 points difference, and you see the rise and fall of in gap of the rank. So right now, yeah, it is what it is. And our manager of the week is Karamba Sidibe, the Dark Knight, with 71 points.
the
I
Dark
think
Knight.
this is a Turkey flag. He's in Turkey.
Yeah, Turkey.
Yeah,
Caramba.
so
He's in the Kotu Classic group.
yeah, he's in the group. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a ManU fan, right? Isn't he a ManU fan?
Yeah,
He's a
he's
ManU
one of
fan.
you guys. He's one of you
He's
guys.
one of
I
us,
always,
yeah. So at least we'll take this and
I'm
then
always on him.
we'll celebrate on his behalf because he's a ManU fan. So yeah, congrats, Kanamba, for being the manager of the week. Yeah. So we'll jump straight into the fan corner. This week, I think I have a few things to say about our performance and the way we started this season, but I don't want to
Yeah.
spend too much time on it, so I'll just talk on the pointers. Chama, I think it's better if you ask me questions on ManU and then I'll just answer because that just cuts our time and make us summarize because there's a lot. I can go on the whole episode about ManU, but I think it's everybody knows. ManU fans know what's going on with the team right now, and there's a lot of unknowns, and it's like we are in the news constantly the past few weeks, or the whole year. So things are happening.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, just let me just go right into it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, about our performance against Tottenham.
Yeah. What, can I say a few things before
Yeah,
you start
please,
rambling
please,
about
please,
about the performance?
please go ahead.
Generally, I think the performance, especially the first half, was a decent performance.
Yeah.
The first half was very good from United. They should have, scored a goal or two. Rashford had a couple of good chances, big chances, I would say. Bruno Fernandes had a very, very good chance, and he created that big chance for Rashford, one of them. So both of them could have get the return. I know many managers have double up on them, but the second half, things kind of went south, and Tottenham kind of took up the game from there and started dominating. Even though in the first half, when I look at the midfield, just the midfield battle, I think Tottenham dominated the battle in the midfield, and that continued in the second half. But in terms of chances, creativity in the first half, Man United did create chances. So, what was your take on the performance? And what's your take on the general start for United so far?
To keep it brief, the first half I was excited to watch the game because Tottenham they play a very dynamic football, and we are also trying to play a dynamic football according to the coach before the start of the season. You understand?
Yeah.
I think it was level. I think if we had scored the goals, the clear chances we had, two of those would have been a different conversation. You understand? To be honest, to be fair with the team, but I feel like one main thing that we are suffering as a team is mentally. That mentality is not there. Last season we struggled initially with the mentality, and then we came, we kind of turned the corner and did well. This time around, it's just start again. It's like the same thing. It's like you do well, and then start of the season you go back to default mentality
Don't
issues.
maintain.
Another thing also I feel like is we are not fit enough to play the style of football the coach wants us to play, and you have to be fit to play that kind of football. I've listened to a few videos say about the same thing, that you have to man mark, like that type of system that we are playing. I don't see that. Second half, even last season, the same thing. The first half performance is great. Second half, we are slow. It's like we just feel like football is just 45 minutes, and it's not. This season, we're going to have a lot of added time. It's going to be more than 90 minutes. So you have to be fit for the whole game because it's a whole game. It's not about 45 minutes. So I feel like We did better in the Wolves game in this game because I feel like the strategy of the coach, maybe the players are understanding it more, because we did better in the first half. Because with the Wolves game, it was throughout the whole game. We did not do anything, not translate the messages that the coach was trying to portray. And the coach gave them a chance with the same team again to get it right. And they did better. But the second half was just bad, terrible for me, to be honest.
No, but let me add another thing. Like last season, if you remember well, of course, it was Ten Hag's fourth season. So sometimes you can expect a manager to take time to gel in and bring his ideas and stuff like that. But the start was not so different from this season. It was even worse last season. You started the season against Brighton. You lost at home to Brighton. Then you played against Brentford. You lost 4-0 to Brentford. Then from there, you beat Liverpool in the third game. It was a very good performance from Manchester United. And from there, you guys kicked on. And this season too, again, fitness is becoming a major issue. Like you say, I think the formation is, like you say, players are very spread out. And then for example, Casemiro, I know he got a lot of stick from myself, especially, but he's kind of very isolated in the middle. He doesn't have the support that he needs and stuff like that. Even though I still question his play,
he's a
his
slow
goal.
starter. He's a slow starter. Generally, yeah.
But yeah, because I saw some stats at the end of the game. Look at him, Fernandez, and Mount. If you combine those three players, I think they have been dribbled past about 20 times so far in the first two games of the season, or the first game, or the second game, or stuff like that. I don't know the exact number, but it was so low compared to other teams like Manchester City. The other teams, the top 6 teams, they are doing way better than Man United when it comes to midfield. Winning tackles here and there, which also it counts. Of course, sometimes tackles don't score goals, but this kind of things, it breeds energy,
momentum,
it brings confidence, momentum, and those kind of things. So if you are not getting those little battles in the middle, that's why Bissouma was just working in the middle. Bissouma was looking like an exceptional superstar in that game. I was watching him and say, where has this Bissouma been over the past few seasons? But I think Man United were not there to make it hard for them.
To be fair, I think Bissouma has always been a good player. Like I've been a fan of him for the longest time. He's always been a class player. The Conte didn't give him a chance last season. That was the issue. And now this coach has really put his faith in him, and he's reaping the rewards. I feel like I think people are not talking about this. Of all the videos I've watched, they haven't mentioned the fact that traveling for preseason has this effect on the players' start of the season. You cannot expect to travel from the UK to America for preseason, and then you expect that, because they traveled a lot. They had a lot of games. They traveled.
Yeah.
And I think now maybe instead of starting or having a preseason close to home, where you go in for like a location, and then have a very good preseason, and then you don't much travel and you come back, you're fit. You're well rested. But the traveling aspect of it, you have jet lag and whatever. It takes a while for the team to start.
That's and the commercial aspect of it.
Even though naturally we're not fit, we still have issues with the jet lag because we have traveled all this while. So that's also another additional problem. The other problem, Rashford is being played out of position. He doesn't like playing as a forward. His whole up play is not his best position at all. The coach played Sancho all 2 preseason as a false 9. And it kind of worked, because you can see Sancho, like, his whole up play is really good. And he was learning to play the role. So if Martial is injured, start with what you started in the preseason. Put Sancho there. And put Rashford on the left, where he's actually his best position. Because he's our best player. Last season, he had 30 plus goals. So why do you want to come and change everything again, as if you're going to another preseason? Like last season was understandable. It's the coach's first season in the league. You're given benefit of the doubt. But as a second season, like, you were supposed to see progression, not regression. So like, fans can start questioning him. We're not saying, we want Ten Hag out. Those fans that are saying that something is wrong with them, they're crazy. But we are supposed to start questioning the decision of the coach, because we can see what the team is going through. You understand? Even though there's a lot of the Greenwood situation is happening, the takeover also is happening. There's a lot going on with the club that can mess with the players' mind. But as the coach, we're supposed to see some improvement. Honestly.
Yeah.
So I think I've probably covered everything I'm supposed to say right now. Hopefully, the next game, it should be easier, and the opponent is an easier opponent, even though they have improved.
Definitely. It should be
like, there's no excuse now. Because Tottenham, it could be either or. We have been beating Tottenham for the past, I don't know how many years. In their new stadium, they've only beaten us, I think, once. But I think now is the time, like, for us to, like, turn it around. Yeah, definitely. So that is that for my thoughts on the performance and so far this season. Um,
Yeah.
Jumping on to Liverpool, you guys, even though you did well, last season this scoreline was 9-1. Was it 9-1?
9-0 last
Nine
season.
zero last season. So this time around was a bit different. We were expecting more, but a win is a win regardless. Um,
Mhm.
what were your thoughts on this performance overall?
Yeah, definitely. We started very slowly the game. Like we had an early warning. They scored an offside goal within 2 minutes or within 1 minute. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
not
then
one.
all of a sudden, the restart play go. The ball came back in. They scored their first goal. And yeah, and that's how the game started. Like with Liverpool, it's always chaos. It's always chaotic the way we play. There is no control these days. Control used to be something that we used to value a lot, but it seems right now it's not so much. That is the only concern I have in. But after that, I think the team did well. They did play well. They did create chances. On player like Soboslai was exceptional. I know many are questioning the penalty that he won and stuff like that. But generally, I think his performance was very good. And in the second half, we also got very unlucky with McAllister's red card. But generally, I think the performance was good. Salah missed another penalty and then scored on the rebound. Yeah, but yeah, Jota was very impressive, to be honest. I like Jota the way he played. I like his game. The goal he scored too. That was class. The goal was class. And yeah, 3-1. It's not the I would have expected more, but yeah, it's a good score. The season has just started, like we say. We are not also at the top of our form, and we are still trying to figure out some few things here and there. Trent, he was at fault for the goal. Our defense was a mess before we really get into the game. Trent, Van Dijk, even Alisson, they were giving the ball left, right, and center. Ibu Konate making mistakes here and there. So that kind of made me worried a little bit. But in the end, they got the results we wanted. Disappointed with Salah's 5 point,
Yeah,
but otherwise, I was very happy. And then yeah, of course, we had the new signing on. What's his name again? Endo, from Hendo now to Endo. He came on after the red card and he helped us really well. Of course, he made a one mistake or stuff like that. That almost gifted the opponents a counter-attacking chance. But overall, he came in, help us protect the back four. I think he's going to be a very effective player for Liverpool. He's not going to be the Caicedo that we are looking for, who's going to be there for the next 5-10 years. For him, maybe it's a 2 years, 3 years thing. But I think as for now, I think he can be very effective for what we want because as we know, Liverpool is very good when it comes to attack. When it comes to attacking players and stuff like that around them, we have attack all our creativity all around the team. So all we wanted was somebody who will help protect that, protect the players when they go. And with him being the player he is, very experienced, of course, captain of Japan, and he, very responsible. I think he was very very good in Germany actually. If you look at his team, he was from Stuttgart. They were kind of a relegation battle team, but always when he plays in Germany, like according to what I heard, and when I watch him, he kind of stand out. I watch him in the World Cup, and he was very good for Japan in that World Cup. Like I say, if Japan had progressed further than the second round, where they were knocked out on penalties or the quarterfinals, maybe he would have been a player we would talk about like Amrabat, because he had a very, very good World Cup. And I was very impressed with him, to be honest. I think he can add value to our team, but like I don't know if that is enough for our midfield right now. But I was very impressed. Yeah. What's your
yeah.
thought on
So
our game? What did you see?
I did not watch the game, but I think since you guys fumbled the bag with Caicedo and Lavia, I think maybe you guys need to reset and maybe reevaluate your strategy towards signing. Like you go back and maybe give it enough thought and do proper scouting. So he might be a stopgap
Mm-hmm.
for this season or until January. When you have the chance to like sign somebody else from somewhere that
Yeah.
can be in the team for the next few years. So I think it's going to be a really good signing for you guys for now.
Yeah.
Because as it
Actually,
stands
I think.
now,
Actually, I think. Actually, I think you should mention like I think if we had Caicedo, he would have been different class because he would have added a lot of value, not just defensively, but also he will help us progress the ball and protect us even better. But when it comes to Lavia, I really dedicate like I think for now, I think Endo can do a better job for Liverpool than him. Even though he's a decent player. Defensively, I mean, he's still 19 years old. He was more of a long-term project and stuff like that. That's why Liverpool were kind of reluctant to go to all the way to that price that Southampton wanted. And then in the end, they lost that one. But I think for now, what Endo can give us as a player, like what we want as a team, effectively, it's not just about the caliber of player or the long-term thing. Just like last season, Man United signed Casemiro. You give them that season, and now it becomes a problem. I think him can give us that for now, but he cannot give us for the long term. Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to game week 3 fixtures. Yeah. So we're going to choose 3. Maybe you can choose 3 from these fixtures that we can actually discuss, so we don't spend much time. What are your 3 best FPL games to pick and put your eyes on, or to let's say the best
I will exclude
games
Man
in terms
City
of FPL?
because of I will exclude Man City because of Haaland. Because of course, because he's the best asset in the game. But of course, you will talk about that one. That one I will leave it for you now. Man City stuff. But the other team that I think they have an exceptional, like Chelsea, Luton have been exceptionally bad defensively. I think they are at the bottom when it comes to the chances they have considered, shots they have considered, and stuff like that. They are going to play a Chelsea team who have not showed us enough attacking wise yet. And we are expecting more from them.
This is their chance.
But they are playing a bad defense. But this is their chance, because for me, fixtures like is what breeds everything. Is what breeds form in this game. That's why I kind of follow players when it comes to their fixtures, and that's why I try to interpret the fixtures as much as I possibly can. So Chelsea, yes, they have a lot of midfielders, defensive midfielders, and defenders and stuff like that. Their attack is still, they are still unproven. Sterling's since he went to Chelsea, we haven't seen the Sterling we want to see. Jackson is an unknown property still, but we have seen things that we like from him. And other than that, too, around the attack, maybe you are talking about Chilwell, because maybe, of course, sometimes he plays as a winger. And last game, he was substituted around the 60-minute mark.
Yeah, that's worrying. That's worrying. Yeah,
is Pochettino thinking something else about him or stuff like that? Is he not confident in his, fitness and stuff like that? Which are all worries. But yeah, Chelsea game is very interesting, and is one of them. The other team that I will talk about is Arsenal. Fulham too.
Yeah,
they have lost their talisman in Mitrovic. They have started this season. They won their first game against Everton, but the second game they lost at home to a very good Brentford team, and it was a bad loss. Paulina is struggling for fitness. He's just returning. He played in that game in the second half, but he's not yet fully fit. So how is going to affect them? And now they're going to play an Arsenal team who is very serious this season about their, their season.
About the points this time around.
Yeah. So it's a fixture that I will be very, very happy to look at. And finally, the Manchester United one. Of course, I know you want to talk about that one, but for me personally, I think I can see Man United turning it this time around. I can see them. Nottingham Forest, they can be good defensively. They are not the worst defense in the league. They defend quite well. They defended very well against Arsenal in the first game. If you watch that game 2-1, I think people were worried.
I was surprised.
We are surprised by the performance, and Arsenal's not scoring more goals and stuff like that, but they defended well. But I can see Man United turning it on this game. I see Mount is injured, so that means Man United might be back to their original
regular form
system from last season.
Midfield,
Martial is back. He played the last game, so maybe he can start, and then Rashford can move back. But of course, like you guys tell me, you never know. It's Ten Hag, so he can do anything he wants.
But those are that's what we are realizing this time around, that he can be a stubborn manager. But still, this game,
those are the three fixtures I will look at. Brentford, Brighton, I will leave you to talk about those ones. They have good fixtures, but for me, if I have to pick those three, it's Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United. How about you? Other than those three,
Brentford, I picked. Crystal Palace. This might be a tougher game because Crystal Palace, they've lost Zaha. Eze is now their talisman. Olise has signed, even though Chelsea were trying to get him, but he has signed an extension. So I think they're creating chances. I only ever really kind of reviewed their first game. Last game, who did they play in this game week 2?
Oh, Crystal Palace?
Yeah.
Arsenal, they play at Arsenal. They lost 1-0.
Oh, the 1-0, yeah. So
Penalty,
defensively,
yeah.
they are good, man. Defensively, I think they are good. Even though Arsenal were 10 man down in the end, but they are good. So I don't think Brentford might score a lot of goals in this game. That is my own opinion. But if they are to score, you know who the two top players for Brentford are, Wissa and Mbomo. So those are the only two players that I feel like have a chance of scoring in this game. The other game that I think is also Brighton West Ham, also going to be a tough game. West Ham, they started the last game against Chelsea. They beat Chelsea 3-1. So Brighton will create chances, 100%. The problem is how many would they score? that's my issue because.
And how many will they give away? Because they give away chances.
They're going to give away a few, 100%. That's not a problem.
They're excited.
Yeah, but I think they're going to win. But I also don't know who the scorers might be because they have a lot of good players right now. Pedro, Mitoma, Danny Welbeck is also a good player. Match, Adingra, like you mentioned, like a host of players that can score goals. So it's going to be an exciting game to watch.
And see, so they have a lot of options.
There are a lot. The last one is Sheffield United Man City. So we know Haaland was stopped from scoring. Like Newcastle handled him very well. Like, to be honest, man, it was a tough game for him. The defenders were all over him. What's the defenders? Newcastle's big defender. What's his name? I had him last season.
Bodman,
Bodman was all over Haaland in that game. The first time I watched, he was angry. He was pissed. But hopefully this game, he will score. I think he kind of like, that's the thing you don't want. If you see a good player, like whenever they have a bad game, or not a bad game, but they didn't score in the previous game, they always want to prove people wrong. That's the kind of mentality that Ronaldo has. He wants to score. He wants to
prove themselves wrong.
Yeah,
prove themselves
prove
like I'm the best.
So,
yeah.
Again, I'm sorry for Sheffield, man, but I feel like they're gonna concede a few goals in this game week.
Yeah.
For
me in that game week, if Haaland score one goal, it's a win for me. Just one is enough.
He is not gonna score one. You guys like touch wood. I don't want to jinx it, but we'll have to.
Yeah, anything less than 2 goals, I'm happy with. Okay,
anything less than 2 goals is not good for him. He needs to score like a hat trick.
That's perfect.
He owes us points.
Yeah, the back-to-back blank. I don't know how people will take that one.
That
back-to-back.
It's gonna start getting managers to start thinking, hey, is he the Parma captain?
14 million player.
Yeah, we need to start really playing FPL now. So So let's move on to our teams. I'll start with your team for Game Week 3. So this is your team. Take us through.
I made a couple of changes in my team. I brought in Wissa and Chilwell, who I did not have. Chilwell I should have started with, but I finally brought him in. Yeah, I'm concerned with what I saw in the game, but he's kind of a player that I think if we just roll back to game week 1 after that game when they played Liverpool and the way he was, how high he was, how involved he was in everything going on, I think people will agree that he's a very good asset. Of course, sometimes what we see just in front of us, that is the 1 point against West Ham and the substitution and stuff like that. But we should not forget what an asset he can be and what a threat he can be going forward. He could have get a mega haul in that game when he scored, and then disallowed goal, got the assist in that game. That could have been mega. So for me, I'm worried that he was taken off, but like as an asset, Chilwell, if he plays, I think I would back him to be very involved when it comes to the goals in this game. He's the one who came in for who else? Kabore, I brought out, and then I brought in Wissa for Darwin Núñez. Darwin was brought in for specifically Bournemouth game, and it did not work out. So I had to move on that one. So in goal I start with Steele against West Ham. Even though I'm not confident with the clean sheet, Chilwell, Estupiñán, and Saliba in defense, and in the middle I have Rashford, Salah, Saka, Mbeumo, and Foden. And up top, I start with Jackson and Wissa, of course, no Haaland. So that means my captain is Rashford. That was my plan initially. It was my plan at the start of the season. Even though I consider Saka and even Jackson or Chilwell, because I think those 4 players are the players that I would consider for my captaincy. But Rashford, I feel he has the best fixture. Saka lost the penalty last time. So if he had taken that penalty, maybe I would have stick with him this week. No, maybe I would have changed from Rashford to Saka because Rashford is my captain. Is the one I pre-plan to captain. So I'm gonna stick with Rashford for now. But it might change. You don't be surprised if it is the Chelsea players or if it is Saka at this time. But Rashford is more likely.
Okay. As things stands right now,
I'm not happy. I'm not happy benching Akanji though.
Yeah, it's a
because
good
I know
fixture,
Man
man.
City
It's a good fixture for
they
him.
don't concede chances,
Yeah.
but I don't know who to bench for him. Do you have any thoughts on who
he
to
can come
bench
in for
for?
Saliba, but the only thing is Saliba plays home, so most likely, I think both of them don't have really good goal threats, in my opinion. So I think
I think Saliba had better goal threat because he's always traveling with the ball. Akanji
or bonus
did
points. I
not
think maybe
involve
bonus
in any.
points might be in for Saliba, but Akanji can also play in the false in the double six. Remember, that's how they play. So
Yeah,
he might also
yeah,
be involved in bonus points for passing points too. So it can be either way. I
yeah,
think they
yeah,
both
yeah,
will
yeah.
have the same similar points or 1 point difference between them in this game week. That's my opinion. But
Yeah, so
it's fine. Either one is
I
good.
would just always stick with with the
The
home
home player.
fixture, which is not so important when it comes to defense. I don't know why. Every time I do that in defense, it does not necessarily work. Like last time, I benched Saliba because he was away, and then I started every other player. Trent, of course, Trent was not a consideration to bench against Bournemouth at home. But yeah, Saliba away got the clean sheet and they did not. So this one I struggle with this kind of decision sometimes, especially when this whole. That's why sometimes I don't want the bench to be good. I just want my bench to be
it
easy
makes your
pick.
decision more difficult because you have to put in more thought into it.
Decision more
Yeah,
difficult.
yeah.
You see, I'm benching Trent this week, and I'm happy to bench him.
Of course, it's away and it's Newcastle anyway. So that's a
That bench,
that's a good team for this week.
But captaincy, what's your thought? I know you will not support my Rashford captaincy for sure.
I wouldn't because for me Rashford is more of like a streaky player. He builds up on his confidence. So if he starts scoring goals, then you can expect more goals from Rashford. But like you said, it's not Nam Forest. But I also believe that their defense is better. We might win the game, but not with many goals. Rashford might also be one of the players that actually score. Him and Bruno might be the two players that you can expect goals from. But I feel like Saka against Fulham might be a better captaincy because I've seen Arsenal's performance this season, the past two games, and it seems like they didn't have a good of a start compared to last season. Maybe because last season they were a surprise package. People didn't expect that Arsenal will be dominating teams like that. But now teams expect Arsenal to be the better team, so they are set up to kind of defend against Arsenal. So that's why it's difficult. But Saka is on form, man. Like he's scoring, those goals. And the only issue that I have right now is the penalty issue. And the coach spoke about it that it's out of his hands. It's between the two players. And I think Odegaard asked Saka if he could take the penalty, and Saka said, "Okay, fine." So I don't believe he's off penalty.
Star boy, he's a nice boy. That's why he gave it away.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like Odegaard cannot ask again. Like if you ask too many times, that means like, hey, bro, what are you doing? So he's still gonna be on pens. In my opinion, I think Saka is the better captaincy pick this week. But
I'll consider that one, but it will be last last minute decision and see. And sometimes I do these kind of things when it comes to like I know he's not on form. Manchester United is not on form, but because
he can work in your favor, man. It can be a big punt that happens and he goes and scores like hat trick. You never know.
Yeah, performance-wise, to be honest, I've not seen enough to captain him. But in terms of the caliber of the player, I trust the player a lot. And once he hit that ground running, and he has this good fixture, he can. He's like even against Tottenham, like I say, he could have easily get a brace despite having a very bad game. The headed chance if he convert that one, that Bruno passing with the Rabona pass,
that was a nice play.
And then the one he almost chipped the keeper. The keeper just put his hand there and then got the ball. That one he used his pace. That was the first chance he had. Vicario, he had an exceptional game for Tottenham.
He had a people are not talking about that. They're not talking about he had a good game.
So that's what could have easily have a double good a brace, having a very bad game in that one. But I will see Saka and Rashford that maybe it's one of them.
Like I said, FPL is also about gut. If you have a gut feeling about a player, you better play it because what you don't want to happen is you do the safe option, and then your punt for the week captaincy goes ballistic and gets a
Because,
haul, and you're always gonna feel bad.
yeah,
So I think it's better to go with your gut. And yeah,
yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Go. Let's see your team now.
My team, as it stands right now, I'm feeling pretty confident about this game because all of my players have home fixtures except one, which is Haaland, the captain. The captain. So I'm going with Onana in goal against Nottingham Forest. Three at the back: Chilwell, Estupinian, and Gabriel. Gabriel, I'm going to transfer out for either Guardiola, Man City, for stability because he's been playing. I just want a defender that plays. That's all. That's all I'm asking for. Or Rico Henry. I've been hearing good things about him. That he's very attacking, and he just was just unlucky. The last game week he could have had like 2 assists or something like that. So
But he did not start the last game, huh? Rico Henry of Brentford. I thought we were talking Rico Lewis.
Brentford, yeah.
Brentford.
Brentford, yeah,
Yeah.
Brentford.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rico Henry. So it's either Guardiola from Man City or Rico Henry. So I'm leaning towards Henry after all the good things I've heard from. It's good to have
Yeah,
a
and
full
Brentford's
pack.
fixtures are very nice, right?
Yeah. So it might be Gabriel to him. And then in midfield, I have Bruno Fernandes, Martinelli, Rashford, Saka, and Mitoma. Mitoma is back. And then up top, I have Jackson and Haaland, who's my captain for this week. Joao Pedro is in my bench right now. He's on the bench, Baldock and Bayer, but he might be out in a few weeks' time. I don't want to have that option where I want to be switching between two good options. It's either he's out of my team or not. So I might transfer him out and get somebody else.
Who are you considering for him?
I'm not sure. Maybe Visa, But then the problem is I don't want to be playing this game where I have a good player on the bench. You know what I mean? So I have good midfielders that are playing, and they're gonna have more points potentially. So
So
yeah, I
then you
don't want to
have
have.
this. You start having that problem of
That
who to bench.
exactly. So I either just save the
Because
points and get
you
a
don't like to see the pay. You don't like to see your points on the
No,
bench,
no, no,
yeah?
no, no. I don't like that anymore. that is a problem for me right now. So this is my team. That's what I'm going with. I'm gonna make one transfer at least this game week. Most likely, definitely, Gabriel is gonna be out, and then I'm gonna bank the transfer because I have two right now. Yep.
Nice.
That is it. So anything else you forgot to discuss or mention this part? I think we've covered a lot, especially the results discussion. We've covered a lot. So yeah.
Yeah. I think we covered all. We covered it all, and I think the time was good, right?
It was,
Today.
yeah. So yeah. This is the Kotu Classic. Please support us, guys. Like the page. Visit the main page, the Jollof Football Bantaba. We have, a few more content there for you guys about Gambian football. So just check it out. And we hope that you guys get a better game week than me last week. To all managers. So it's back on the grind. It's just FPL. You win some, you lose some. So that's my takeaway from this week.
Yeah, definitely.
How about you, Chama?
Yeah. May the arrows be green. May the arrows turn green this week.
Always.
I know yeah. Hopefully next week we can see green. Last week it was, of course, game week 1 there is no green arrows, but at least you started okay, and then it was tough for me, and then second week it kind of turned, the table turned a little bit. So hopefully the green arrows will come, and like you say, let them not forget to join the league. Of course, when do you think we should actually close the league this season?
I
When
feel
should we
like
close the league?
I think we can discuss that later, but anybody can join. But we'll just try and take stock of those people that joined before. If we decide to give prizes out, we can just close it in game week 4.
Guys, please consider, you see the league code is right there. By game week 4, maybe like Bruce say, by the end of the international window, that is game week 4 is the international break. So by the end of the international break, you guys will not see the league code again on the screen, and you will not be able to join the league. So if you haven't done so, please consider doing that before then. And hopefully there are some things to be won again this season. And may your arrows be green.
Thanks, guys. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye.